Fourth, at the suggestion of Elon Musk, who has given me his complete and total endorsement. That's nice. Smart guy. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. Very much appreciated. I will create a government efficiency commission tasked with conducting a complete financial and performance audit of the entire federal government and making recommendations for drastic reforms. We need to do it. Can't go on the way we are now. And Elon, because he's not very busy, has agreed to head that task force. Be interesting. If he has the time, it'd be a good one to do it, but he's agreed to do it. In 2022, fraud and improper payments alone cost taxpayers an estimated hundreds of billions of dollars. As the first order of business, this commission will develop an action plan to totally eliminate fraud and improper payments within 6 months. This will save trillions of dollars, trillions. It's massive. For the same service that you have right now, trillions of dollars is wasted and gone, and nobody knows where and what. Further taming inflation and bringing prices way down. The fifth pillar of my plan is to make the Trump tax cuts permanent. They are massive tax cuts, biggest ever, permanent. And to cut taxes even more, and we will have no tax on tips, something which they copied 4 weeks after I said it. She got up and said, no tax on tips. I said, I just said that.
Yeah.
Hi, Elon. So as we bring government spending and look inward to our country, I am a government employee. I care about innovation and efficiency. With your vision for a Department of Government Efficiency, what can we do? How can we support you? And also, how can we spot the needs of people in North Carolina? The body count is abnormally underreported. What can we do to press on that and to support people within our country?
Sure. Well, I do think that government efficiency is not simply about reducing the size of government, but making sure that there are incentives for excellent work. So if somebody's, whatever you incent will happen. So if you have incentives for excellent work, and by the same token, if someone's not doing excellent work, they're exited. Just like normal. It's really what happens in a properly functioning company is that you reward, or think of a sports team. The players that are doing well, they get rewarded, and the players that are not doing well, they exit the team. And that should just be how it works. And I think that'll have a profound effect on the effectiveness of government, because so whatever you incent will happen. So if the incentives are aligned with saving people in North Carolina, then that's what will happen. But if you have a sort of a failed response to the disasters, to the hurricane disasters, and no one even gets fired, well, okay, what do you expect? No one's going to take action. So people if there's a track record of failure, you have to exit the people who failed. Otherwise, people will look around and say, well, I guess I don't need to do anything because, nothing bad happens to you, even if you do a terrible job and people die, which is insane. So.
Hey, Elon, how are you? I'm Rob. These are two tough acts to follow here, but my question's a little more simple. What are some of the first courses of action you plan to take as the head of government efficiency if Trump gets elected, and do you have any areas of concern in particular?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. I definitely, the focus right now is making sure that Trump wins the election. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. And I think if Trump loses, we're going to see, our cities are going to get less safe. The border's obviously going to be wide open. We're going to see government spending go ballistic. It's inflation go nuts. It's going to be just bad on every level. And fundamentally, if the current trend of strangulation by overregulation is not turned around, we'll never get to Mars. It just will be illegal. And then we'll be a one-planet civilization. There won't be a space-sparing civilization, and Starfleet will never be real. And we want Starfleet to be real. Yeah. So, Now, I've had quite a bit of interaction with the government, because SpaceX is the biggest NASA contractor, actually. Does a lot of work for NASA, and I'm a big fan of the agency, by the way. But there's there are expenditures that don't make a lot of sense, that are wasteful, and we need to put a stop to that. Honestly, there's so much government waste that's going on that I would call it a target-rich environment. Like, it's hard, like, in every direction. There's this just mad waste, and I think simply if people simply know that, well, if they waste a ton of taxpayer money, they're going to get fired, that will immediately improve the situation. Immediately. It's like, yeah, it's just literally, and I think, but actually it's going to be both carrot and stick. It's like, so if a government official is very effective in spending your money, because taxpayer money is your money. If they're effective in spending your money, they should be promoted, they should be rewarded. And if they waste your money or do something that's basically corruption, they should be fired, obviously. They have a duty to spend your money well. Yeah.
Hey, Elon. As a veteran who was deployed because of... So what would you say to an administration and a candidacy that is spreading lies or disinformation about the troops that are currently in combat, my friends?
Yeah, can you believe that was said?
Dossier and Hunter Biden's laptop, president's decline, and so on.
Yeah, I mean, during the Trump-Kamala debate, she said there was no active duty soldiers out there. I'm like, I know a whole bunch of them. What are you talking about? That's a shameful, terrible lie. And she wasn't even fact-checked. And I'm like, are you kidding? I mean, yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I just like to say, for the people, for the Americans out there who are serving in dangerous places right now, unlike what Kamala said, thank you for your service to the country.
That votes for the head of the United Auto Workers. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's approved all electric cars. And Elon, I love Elon Musk. Do we love him? I love him. And I'm constantly talking about electric cars, but I don't mean I'm totally for them, but whatever the market says, and if it's 10% of the market, 12%, 7%, 20%, whatever it is, it's okay. But you can't have 100% electric cars. And so Elon endorsed me recently, the other day, actually. He's great. Elon Musk. He's a brilliant guy. Every time I call him, he's talking about, I got a new idea for a rocket. You have to hear this? No, it's true. The first time I ever saw this, I'm watching television like 3 years ago, and I see a rocket motor engine, come down landing, straight up in, no wings, no nothing, and it's landing. And I thought I was seeing things. What is that? And it's landing on a barge in the middle of the ocean. And then another one comes down, and another one. I guess 4 of them came down, 3 or 4, and they land upright. I said, what the hell was that? I've never seen that before. Now, if that were government, you wouldn't see that for another 50 to 100 years. But it was Elon. Now, think of that. And I called him, and I've always had a good relationship with him, but I called him, and I said, what was that? He said, well, we saved the engines. We saved the engines because it's very expensive to build. So, it didn't take me long to figure that if you save them, that's good. But who the hell thought you could do that? No wings, no nothing, just like these big, long, massive tubes, and they're landing gently right on the dot. I said, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. And you say, how long would it take government to come up with that one? I don't think they ever heard of it. Perhaps they still haven't heard of it. But, he's a very advanced person, and he's doing other things that are great, and so are others. We have to make life good for our smart people, We have some smart people. We have to make life good for our smart people, and he's as smart as you get. But Elon endorsed me the other day, and I didn't even know this. He didn't even tell me about it. But he gives me $45 million a month. A month. Not 45 million. Gives me 45 million a month. And I talked to him just a little while ago to say I was coming here, how you doing? And he didn't even mention it. He didn't mention. I mean, other guys, they give you $2 and you got to take them to lunch. You got to wine them, dine them. No, he's a great guy, he really is. But, you know, he's never mentioned to me, why are you hitting the electric cars? Because he understands I'm not hitting it. I think it's incredible. I've had them. I've driven them. They're incredible. But they're not for everybody. Some people have to drive long distances. And they tend to be more expensive. And, you know, they'll probably be made in China because China has all of that material.
Mr. Ramaswamy. Everyone was like in shock.
I think that he was, they said they were going to drug him, potentially. That was the joke. The reality is it's as though they lobotomed him.
Okay, great. Thank you.
The sad truth is this is a national security threat to the United States of America. To have a president of the United States that is this far removed from reality, I think is a threat to our country. And when you tie together the records of Trump versus Biden, it wasn't just the record and the words. Americans could see it in their own eyes that this is not a president who is actually with them. It was sad. It made me sad. It was uncomfortable to watch, actually. You have a president. Many Americans don't love this president. I worry this president has family members who don't love him. Because any loving family member would not put a man like this through the hell that they're actually putting him through. The only times he came alive, Joe Biden did during the night, the only times he had even a spark of life to him was when he's talking about January 6th, was when he's talking about Trump's convictions. He doesn't actually give a damn about the issues that affect Americans. He only gives a damn about the issues that try to actually dunk on Trump. And I think it's a great thing that, you know what, President Biden came across as the guy who is the mean guy in the room. See, people talk about President Trump and his social media tweets and the things that they might find mean about them. I actually think President Biden came across as the more begrudged gentleman in the room tonight.
Trump was not answering questions that he was asked.
Do you think there might be calls amongst Democrats, I know you're not a Democrat, to replace him?
I mean, the fact of the matter is this man cannot continue as maybe even make it to the end of this term as the President of the United States. I have deep concerns for our own country, even for the next 6 months with this man in charge. When you think about the greatest threats that we have faced in our lifetime to the homeland of the United States of America, and that this is the man who's the commander-in-chief supposedly making those decisions, that should be frightening to every American. And I do think that we are due for a Democratic Party that has a reckoning ahead of it to say that if this man is the best they could put up, that says everything you need to know about the modern Democratic Party.
Vivek, do you
and I think Trump came out unambiguously to
Do
win.
you think that Trump won this debate tonight? Do you think he performed how he went out there and did his job and convinced those undecided voters, including the 8% here in Georgia, that he is the guy for the job?
I think he did. He exceeded my already high expectations. He hands down won this debate. And the reason why is not only did Trump win it, but Biden lost it. Both those happened at the same time. Did he convince independents tonight? I think he actually did. The moments where he talked about, you know what my vengeance and retribution will be? It will actually be success in this country. People saw, they tried to bait him into it. He stayed on his policy record, and I thought it was a beautiful thing. At the same time, he didn't compromise on his principles. They tried to get him to talk about climate change. Well, you know what he said? I care about clean air. I care about clean water. That's not something that you usually hear from Republican candidates. It's not something that the media usually ascribes to Donald Trump. And so I thought he had a chance to show a side of him that independents haven't seen so far. And I think that he not only hands down won the debate, and not only is a better golfer apparently, but he's apparently a better debater. It's not even about who wins the debates, who wins the voters coming out of it. And I think the voters had the chance to see a brighter side of President Trump than they're usually able to see through the media. And I think voters also saw a truly mean and kind of vindictive side of Joe Biden in the few moments where he did have some life springing into him. That's what I believe we saw tonight.
What do you think were the best parts from Trump and what were the worst parts?
But at the suggestion of Elon Musk, I will create a government efficiency commission to conduct a complete financial and performance audit for the entire federal government. And we will cut the fat out of our government for the first time meaningfully in 60 years. We're going to cut the fat. There is so much fat, you won't even know it's gone. Fifth, we will drain the government education swamp and stop the abuse of your taxpayer dollars to
indoctrinate America's youth with all sorts of things that you don't want to have our youth hearing. Ultimately, we'll live, and you know what we're doing here. I say it all the time. I'm dying to get back to do this. We will ultimately eliminate the Federal Department of Education and send education back to Wisconsin and back to the states. We'll send it back to the states so that Ron Johnson can run it, okay? We'll send it back here. Mr. Tiffany, we'll get our Congressman Tiffany involved. He made a good speech, too. We're at the bottom of every single list in education. You know that. We're at the bottom of every single list, and yet we're #1 in terms of cost per pupil. So, you know the expression I used once, twice, 3 times before, and it was very effective, actually. What the hell do we have to lose, right? We'll send our education back to the states. And, you know, some states will do a fantastic job. Some won't. And it's the same ones that are laggards right now. I don't want to name them because why would we want to embarrass Gavin Newsom and some of these people? Gavin Newsom, why would we want to embarrass him? But that's, by the way, speaking of California, she destroyed, as you know, Kamala destroyed the greatest city in America, San Francisco. She destroyed it, totally destroyed it. Then she became Attorney General of the state. She destroyed the state of California. Now she's running for president. We're not going to let that happen. 6, we will not tolerate so-called equity policies that punish Americans based on race or gender. America will return to the merit principle, which has just been approved by the Supreme Court of the United States. You work hard and you will be very successful. We're back to the merit system. Nobody thought that was ever even possible. We need merit. There's so many people that are left out in the cold, and that's not going to happen anymore. You work hard, you work diligently, you go to school, you do what you have to do, but it's based on merit. Again, you haven't heard that in many, many years. And 7th, working with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., you know Bobby, RFK Jr., that was a meaningful endorsement. That was a great endorsement. We'll take on the corruption at the FDA, the CDC, World Health Organization, and other institutions of public health that have dominated and really are dominated by corporate power and dominated really by China. You know, the World Health Organization, they called COVID totally wrong. And I looked into it. We were paying them $500 million a year. China was paying them for $1.4 billion. We don't really know what we have because so many people have come into our country. We have no idea what we have. But let's assume we have 350 million, including 20 or 25 million criminal migrants, in many cases criminals. We have some of the worst people in the world coming into our country. Some of the worst criminals in the world are coming into our country. But we have 350 million people, let's say. They have 1.4 billion. They pay 39 million. We pay 500 million. Do you think that's a good deal? So I pulled out of it, and they came to me, and they wanted me to go back in. They wanted us to go back in, and I kept saying, no, 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 I don't want to do it. And it became actually a very popular thing. I hate to say this, but politically, like people really liked it because they knew how we were abused by them. It's run by China. It's not run by us. We pay 500, and it's run by China, who pays 39 million. So they wanted to come back, and I said, well, how come China's paying 39 million? They have 1.4 billion people, and we're paying for a much smaller number of people. We're paying 500. We will make the same deal as we made with China. Well, I said, that would mean we'd be paying about 8 million, right? They said, no, we will make the same. We'll let you come in for 39 million. And you know what? I turned them down. Not for that. I turned them down for other reasons, and because they weren't good. And they were dominated by China. But Biden came in, this stupid person came in, and he approved $590 million. Now, he knew what was going on. He knew that, well, he probably didn't. He's really, do you think he knew? I don't think he knew. Do you think somebody said, sir, we can do it for 39? You know, it's not the biggest number when you're talking trillions all the time. But it's indicative of stupidity.
I'm not just MAGA. I'm dark, gothic MAGA. Well, the energy in this room is incredible. What a great group of people.
All right, I've only got one question for you, and then I'm getting out of here because this is your stage. But we set up DOGE.
Yes.
How much do you think we can rip out of this wasted $6.5 trillion Harris-Biden budget?
Well, I think we can do at least $2 trillion.
Yeah!
Yes.
$2 trillion.
I mean, at the end of the day, you're being taxed. You're being taxed. All government spending is taxation. So whether it's direct taxation or all government spending, it either becomes inflation or it's direct taxation. Your money is being wasted, and the Department of Government Efficiency is going to fix that. We're going to get the government off your back and out of your pocketbook. And America's just not just going to be great. America is going to reach heights that it has never seen before. The future is going to be amazing. Now, you guys are awesome. Honestly, this is like... Yeah. I mean, this is the kind of positive energy that America is all about. Yeah. USA, 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 USA. Ha! Yes. Now, I have something I want to ask you to do, though, because obviously we're somewhat preaching to the converted in this stadium, but there's a lot of people out there who need to vote for President Trump. Okay, so this is a real battle. This is a real election battle. So you need to get friends and family to vote. Make sure they vote early. This is important. We're going to be putting up a scorecard, okay? An early vote scorecard, state by state, county by county. What is the scorecard? Vote early. Vote now. Yeah. Make the margin of victory so big that you know what can happen. Massive, overwhelming sweep of every swing state, and even some of the states that people don't think are swing states. Massive, crushing victory. Get everyone, friends, family, people on the street. Put the signs up, put the hat on. Let's go. And with that, it is my honor to introduce the First Lady, Melania Trump.
But I do worry about 10 more months with these people because they can do a lot of damage. What they're doing to our country is very sad. We were the first candidate ever to get more than 52% of the vote. We now have our eyes on a very special place. You know what that place is? New Hampshire. And I know that New Hampshire will never let us down, just like in 2016. You remember that? We came in here and we won in a landslide, 2016. It's time for the Republican Party, however, to unify, come together, and move forward as one team. We have to beat crooked Joe Biden. We have to beat him. Our country is at stake, and we need to focus on all of our resources. We have to put them into energy and effort and defeating Biden and all of these radical left lunatics, what they're doing to our country. We can't let it happen. We cannot let it continue. We're going down, and we cannot let it continue. Last night, I was honored to receive the endorsement of a man who has become a true leader and earned the admiration of so many patriots. I've been a friend of his, even though we were competing against each other. But I was a friend of his, and we got along. And he was saying he's a great president. I kept saying, why is he running? He keeps calling me a great president. But he's a fantastic guy, a very smart guy. He's got some tremendous ideas. And he's young, and he's got some young ideas, too, and that's a good thing. So he has a big, beautiful, bright future ahead. Vivek Ramaswamy. Come on up, Vivek.
Let's do this, guys. It's good to see you. It's good to be back to New Hampshire. We miss you guys. We're going to make this happen, and you guys know this well. You know this man. You know why we're here. Patriots across the state. We are in the middle of a war in this country. That's what this is. It's not a war between black and white. It's not between Democrat and Republican, even in a deeper sense. It's between the permanent state and the everyday citizen. Between those of us who love the United States of America and a fringe minority who hates this country and what we stand for. And right now we need a commander-in-chief who will lead us to victory in this war. That's what we need in this country. You got to know you're in a war to win one. You can't win one if you're asleep at the switch, have your head stuck in the sand like most Republicans. And I think that's going to require somebody who isn't bought and paid for, a businessman, not a politician. Anybody heard of that? And that's why I was in this race, but I'll tell you, the people of Iowa spoke loud and clear last night, and I'm a big believer that we, the people, create a government that is accountable to us, not the other way around. That we, the people, choose who leads this country. And so we heard we, the people, last night, and that is why last evening I met my friend here, we met in person, and I told him that I would endorse Donald J. Trump for President of the United States and do everything in my power to lead us to victory in this war. It is a 1776 moment right now. That's where we live right now. And you want to know, what does it mean to be a Republican today? It means we believe in the ideals of 1776. Ideals like freedom and merit and the pursuit of excellence. That you get ahead in this country, not on the color of your skin, but on the content of your character and your contributions. End affirmative action. End DEI. We are done with the nonsense. Send it back home. It means you believe in the rule of law. And I say this as the kid of legal immigrants to this country. That means your first act of entering this country cannot break the law, and that is why we need to use our military to secure our own southern border in this country. That's what it means to stand for the rule of law in the United States of America. It means the people we elect to run the government needs to be the ones who actually run the government, not the shadow government in the deep state that runs the show today. This man is going to get in there this time around and actually shut down that deep state. Not messing around this time anymore. That's how we win this war in this country. And the way we're actually going to do this in the long run and win this time around is with elections we need to secure in this country for the long run. You want to know what needs to happen in this country? Single day voting on election day as a national holiday with paper ballots, government-issued ID to match the voter file, and English as the sole language that appears on a ballot. And I'm confident this man will be the one to get us there. And this is how we get our country back. Not black or white. It's deeper than that. These are the ideals of the American Revolution. And you know what? We do have some enemies that we need to defeat on the other side, but we have challenges to address in our own party right here at home. So you know what? If you want somebody who's going to foist onto you to use your social media account, you want to use a driver's license to do it, to have the right to use the internet, this man's not your man. There's another candidate in this race who'll do that for you. It's Nikki Haley. You want to cut Social Security, you want to cut Medicare, you want to cut veterans benefits so we can fork over more money to Ukraine so some kleptocrat can buy a bigger house? Vote for Nikki Haley, not this man right here. But if you want to actually put an agenda that puts Americans first, to say that the moral obligation of your leaders is to the citizens of this country, not another one, there's not a better choice left in this race than this man right here. And that is why I am asking you to do the right thing as New Hampshire and to vote for Donald J. Trump as your next president, because we're not working with a lot of time here. If our kids are in high school before we get this right, we don't have a country left. That's what it means. We've been celebrating our diversity and our differences for so long that we forgot all of the ways that we are the same as Americans, bound by that common set of ideals that set this country into motion. We believe those ideals still exist. This man is going to be your next president to revive them. E pluribus unum, from many, one. And you know how we're doing it? We're doing it by speaking the truth at every step of the way. There are two genders in this country. Period. That is the truth. Fossil fuels are a requirement for human prosperity. Drill, frack, burn coal, embrace nuclear energy. Reverse racism is racism. An open border is not a border. Parents determine the education of their children. The nuclear family is the greatest form of governance known to mankind. Capitalism lifts us up from poverty. There are 3 branches of government in the United States, not 4. And the U.S. Constitution is the strongest and greatest guarantor of freedom in human history. That is the truth. We fight for the truth. We stand up for the truth. That is what won us the American Revolution. That is what reunited us after the Civil War. That is what won us 2 world wars and the Cold War. That is what still gives hope to the free world. And if we can revive that dream over group identity and victimhood and grievance, then nobody in the world, not a nation, not a corporation, not a virus, not China, is going to defeat us. That is what American exceptionalism is all about. That is what we are going to revive to, yes, make America great again. Vote for this man right here in the New Hampshire primary. God bless you and your families, and may God bless our United States of America. Thank you, New Hampshire. It's good to see you guys. We're coming back and winning this in a landslide. We will not stop until we get this job done. Thank you all. God bless you and your families.
Thank you. Wow, how was that? Pretty good, right? That was pretty good, and he's a fantastic guy, and he's really, he's got something that's very special because he started off with a Zippo, and he ended up very strong. He did a great job. I was actually surprised when he called because he was doing well.
Love the energy here, guys. USA, 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 USA. That is why we are here today, to save our country. Let me tell you something, Wisconsin. We are in the middle of a war in this country. And I don't think it's a war that the media will teach you about, black and white. Nope, it's not that. Not man versus woman. It's not even really Republican versus Democrat. It is deeper than that. It is a war between those of us who love the United States of America and our founding ideals, and a fringe minority who hates this country and what we stand for. And right now, we need a commander-in-chief who is going to lead us to victory in that war. That is your 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, the next president you're going to put back in the White House. That is why we're here today. If you want to seal the border, vote Trump. If you want to fight inflation in this country, vote Trump. If you want to secure free speech in this country, vote Trump. If you want to defeat the deep state in this country, vote Trump. If you want to restore law and order in the United States of America, vote Trump. If you want to revive national pride in this country, vote Trump. If you want to make America great again, vote Trump. That is what we're going to do in Wisconsin and across this country this election in this November. That's why we're here today. Let me tell you something. I'm 38 years old. I've traveled this country. I was the youngest person ever to run for U.S. president as a Republican. And I'll tell you, I'm seeing young people showing up at an event like this, lining up outside, college students. We got a number of them behind me right here. I'll tell you, young people in this country, it's not that they're against us. It's not that. It's that so many of us in my generation and younger, we are lost, hungry for purpose and direction and meaning. And it's up to us now as a conservative movement to now level up. I'm not going to sit here railing against Joe Biden because chances are, let's be honest, he might not even be the nominee that we're running against. Let's be very honest about that. We got to define, irrespective of which puppet they put up, who we are and what we actually stand for. We're not just a movement. We're not just running from something. We are running to something as Americans. We're running back to a country where you do get ahead, not on the color of your skin, but on the content of your character and your contributions. We are running to a country where you get to speak your mind in the open as long as I get to in return, whether you are a liberal or a conservative, a country with free speech in the United States of America. We're running to a country where if you work hard and play by the rules, you do get to live the American dream, where every son and daughter gets to get ahead in the United States with your own hard work and commitment and dedication. That is who we are as Americans. Running to a country where we, the people, decide who actually leads our country, not some corrupt prosecutor in the back offices of Manhattan, where the people we elect to run the government are the ones who run the government, not the deep state as is the case today. That is who we are as Americans. Dig deep and ask yourself why it is that our founding fathers made the sacrifices they did 250 years ago. 56 men signed the Declaration of Independence in 1776. We don't often ask what became of them. I'm going to tell you what happened to them. 12 of them had their homes ransacked by the British and burned down to the ground. 5 of them were captured by the British and tortured until their deaths. 9 of them died in the Revolutionary War. 3 more of them had their own kids die in the Revolutionary War. Many of them died bankrupt because they had their own private property seized before their deaths. They made those sacrifices in 1776, and I believe today it's a 1776 moment in 2024, and Donald Trump is the George Washington of our moment. That is what I believe. That is why I'm here today. That is why I'm supporting your 47th President of the United States. And if we do, we're not this nation in decline anymore, but we're a nation still on our way up. A nation where we will look every kid in the eye and tell them the United States of America is the country where you achieve the maximum of your God-given potential without any government standing in your way. That is what won us the American Revolution. That is what reunited us after the Civil War. That is what won us 2 world wars and the Cold War. That is what still gives hope to the free world. And if we can revive that dream over group identity and victimhood and grievance, then nobody in the world, not a nation, not a corporation, not a virus, not China, is going to defeat us. That is what American exceptionalism is all about, and that is what we will revive to save this great country starting this November when you restore Donald J. Trump back to the White House. Thank you all. God bless you, and may God bless your families, and may God bless our United States of America. Do not stop fighting until we get this job done. Thank you all. God bless.
By one of the people who is going to help us build this incredible future, and he is a truly incredible guy. And I don't say that often. He's a great gentleman. He's done such an unbelievable job for North Carolina, for Georgia, for Alabama, for Florida, for Tennessee. His name is Elon Musk. He saved free speech. He created so many different great things. Where is he? Come on up here, Elon. He created the first major American car company in generations, and his rocket company is the only reason we can now send American astronauts into space. Come here. Take over, Elon. Yes, take over.
Hi, everyone. As you can see, I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark MAGA. Well, first of all, I want to say what an honor it is to be here. And, you know, the true test of someone's character is how they behave under fire. And we had one president who couldn't climb a flight of stairs, and another who was fist pumping after getting shot. Fight, fight, fight! Blood coming down the face. Now, America is the home of the brave. And there's no truer test than courage under fire. So who do you want representing America? Yeah, absolutely. And I think this election, I think it's the most important election of our lifetime. This is no ordinary election. The other side wants to take away your freedom of speech. They want to take away your right to bear arms. They want to take away your right to vote effectively. You got 14 states now that don't require voter ID. California, where I used to live, is just passed a law banning voter ID for voting. I still can't believe that's real. So how are you supposed to have a proper election if there's no ID? It's just meaningless. And free speech is the bedrock of democracy. And if people don't know what's going on, if they don't know the truth, how can you make an informed vote? You must have free speech in order to have democracy. That's why it's the First Amendment. And the Second Amendment is there to ensure that we have the First Amendment. President Trump must win to preserve the Constitution. He must win to preserve democracy in America. Yes. This is a must-win situation. Must win. So I have one ask for everyone in the audience, everyone who watches this video, everyone on the live stream. This one request. It's very important. Register to vote. Okay. and get everyone you know and everyone you don't know, drag them to register to vote. There's only 2 days left to register to vote in Georgia and Arizona, 48 hours. Like, text people now, now. Oh, and then make sure they actually do vote. If they don't, this will be the last election. That's my prediction. Nothing's more important. Nothing's more important. So get everyone you know. Everyone. So speaking to people out there, everyone in the crowd, I think, is already convinced. But for people out there that are watching the video, watching the live stream, you need to get everyone you know, at work, your friends, family, text groups, your social media, everything. Get them to register to vote right now. Only 2 days left for Georgia and Arizona. Only a couple weeks left in Pennsylvania. And if they're not registered to vote, it doesn't matter at that point. Register to vote. I'm being repetitive for a reason, okay? So nothing is more important. And a lot of people think maybe their vote doesn't count. Well, it does, okay? It does. It matters. And this election could be decided by 1,000 votes, 500 votes. A tiny margin. So get everyone you know to register to vote. I believe that's swapthevote.com. I believe that's the site. And double check that your registration is good. Don't take it for granted. I'm just being repetitive about this point because it is the one takeaway, more than anything, that will matter is getting those registrations and then getting everyone you know to actually vote. That is what will decide this election, especially in Pennsylvania. So thank you, and honestly, you want to just be a pest. Just be a pest to everyone you know, people on the street, everywhere. Vote, vote, vote. Fight, fight, fight. Vote, vote, vote. Thank you.
What a great guy. And he'd rather be making rocket ships, because he'd really rather do that. Nobody better. I think he's got 90% of the rockets that go up. But Elon, thank you very much. Incredible, incredible. What he says is true. What he says is true. You know, we're all having fun here tonight, but if we don't register and if we don't vote, we're just going to look upon this as another sort of nice day in our life, but it won't even be a nice day. We're going to look back and we're going to say, wow, it's a lot of time, a lot of effort. We got to win.
I'll tell you something. I don't follow the polls. I don't follow the pundits. But I follow the energy. And this does not feel like second place energy in here tonight. I had a friend of mine, smart guy, he's a billionaire, texted me this morning. And he said, why the hell are you guys wasting your time in New York City instead of going to a swing state? You want to know what I told him? I said, welcome to 2024. New York is a swing state. I got a message for Kamala Harris tonight. We're feeling the joy in New York City tonight, aren't we? And the only celebration bigger than this one right now is going to be on the evening of November 5th when we send Donald J. Trump back to the White House as your 47th president and commander-in-chief. And I'm looking around here. There's only one man who is going to be more happy than everybody else in this room when that happens, and that is going to be a man by the name of Joe Biden, actually. He is so pissed off about what they did to him. And you know, he's thinking it, but I'm going to say it. Identity politics never works in America. When you select somebody on the basis of their race and their gender, it always ends up being a disaster. And I'm actually talking about Tim Walz this time, by the way. It goes both ways. So listen up, guys. Last year, I became the youngest person ever to run for U.S. president as a Republican. And thank you. I appreciate that. And I'll tell you something about my generation. We are lost. We are hungry to be part of something bigger than ourselves. Yet we can't even answer what it means to be an American today. We're in the middle of a national identity crisis. Faith in God, patriotism, hard work, family. These things have disappeared only to be replaced by wokeism and transgenderism, climatism, COVIDism, depression, anxiety, fentanyl, suicide. These are symptoms of a deeper void of purpose and meaning in our country. And right now, we need to step up and fill that void with our own vision. Answer, what does it mean to be an American in the year 2024? It means we believe in the ideals of 1776. It means we believe in merit, that the best person gets the job regardless of their skin color, that you get ahead in this country, not on the color of your skin, but on the content of your character and your contributions. That's why we're done with the woke DEI agenda, bringing in meritocracy to America. It means we believe in the rule of law, and I say this as the kid of legal immigrants to this country. That means your first act of entering this country cannot break the law, and that is why if we've had the largest influx of illegals into this country in American history, we will have the largest mass deportation in American history. That is not racist or xenophobic. That is what it means to stand for the rule of law in the United States of America. It means we believe in self-governance, that the people we elect to run the government, for God's sake, ought to be the ones who actually run the government, not unelected bureaucrats in the deep state that are running the show today. So you want another mass deportation? Let's get 3 million federal bureaucrats out of the D.C. bureaucracy. That's the mass deportation that saves the country. What does it mean to be American? It means we have elections we can trust and believe in, and that means single-day voting on Election Day as a national holiday with paper ballots and government-issued ID to match the voter file. That's how we save the country after we win it this time by voting early. These are not black ideas or white ideas. They are American ideals that set this country into motion. We're in a war to revive them, and right now we need the commander-in-chief who will lead us to victory. That is your next president, Donald J. Trump. If you want to seal the border, vote Trump. If you want to restore law and order in this country, vote Trump. If you want to grow the economy in this country, vote Trump. If you want to revive national pride in this country, vote Trump. If you want to stay out of World War III in this country, vote Trump. If you want to make America great again, vote Trump. I'm going to give you one more reason to vote Trump, and it's this. It's the one the media in the back, they won't talk about this. But they know it to be true. Donald Trump is actually the president who will unite this country, actually. And we don't talk about that enough. America First includes all Americans, regardless of their race, their gender, or their sexual orientation. Our message to black Americans tonight is this. We want you, what we want for every American. Safe neighborhoods, good jobs, clean streets. A country where you are judged based on the content of your character, not the color of your skin or your political beliefs. That's the America we know. Our message to gay Americans tonight is this. You're free to marry who you want, if you want, without the government standing in your way. But that doesn't mean that boys get to compete with girls in girls' sports, or you do genital mutilation and chemical castration on our children. Our message to every legal immigrant in this country is this. You're like my parents. But our message to every illegal immigrant, if you came legally, you get the same American dream that everybody else does. Work hard, get ahead, make contributions to this country, love the nation, and that's our message to legal immigrants. But our message to every illegal immigrant is also this. We will return you to your country of origin. Not because you're all bad people, but because you broke the law. And the United States of America is founded on the rule of law. Our message to my generation, the millennials, is this. You were sold a false bill of goods. You were told you become a gender studies major in California. Somehow that gets you a head start on the American dream when it hasn't worked out that way. Dead on your shoulders. The Iraq and Afghanistan wars. Yes, it's true you were lied to. But we can't just be cynical about our country because this is still the last best hope that we have in the free world. And our message to Gen Z is this. You're going to be the generation that saves the country. You want to be a rebel? 18 years old, stand up on your college campus and call yourself a conservative. Be proud of it. Say you want to get married, have kids, raise a family, and have a good job. That's how we win in America. We don't have to be this nation in decline. We are still on our way up. We're still that country where we will look our children in the eye and mean it when we tell them, you get ahead in the United States with your own hard work, your own commitment, your own dedication, and that you know what? You are free to speak your mind at every step of the way. That is the American dream. That is what we are running to. And that is what we get when we send Donald Trump back to the White House this November. Thank you. God bless you and the great state of New York, and may God bless our United States of America. Thank you, God bless. Thank you, guys.